In this video, I'll demonstrate how to add an access point to the Ruckus LTE AP management portal and verify its operation. So from the dashboard, you can see that we have one venue and we also have one network that's set up. So I'm now going to go in and add an access point. So I'll click on Add AP. The first option is the venue. If I had more than one venues and I clicked on the down arrow, I could pick the venue, but I only have one, so I'm going to be selecting Awani Art Studio. Next is the AP name, and I'm going to type in Art Studio, and I'll give a description, and we'll just call it Art Studio. Next is the tag. If I wanted to give some additional information, let's say everything is on building 2 or on the second floor or something, and then I'm going to enter in the serial number. The serial number is on the bottom of the AP, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my serial number. Now watch what happens when I add in the 5th and 6th digit. You'll notice that the 5th and 6th digits, being a 2 and a 9 respectively, will make the system aware that the AP being added is an LTE AP, and as a result, enable the GPS-related configuration parameters. So I'll finish putting in my serial number, and then I'll scroll down. If I want this AP to be my timing source, I would select this box. And it says make sure this AP is installed where a GPS signal is available, such as near a window or outdoors. So I'm going to set this as my timing master. Next is the AP location in latitude, longitude, and height. And as a note, if you calibrated your venue with a floor plan, meaning that you have a calibrated floor plan, you don't have to manually enter the latitude and longitude. You'll just position your AP on the floor plan. If you need to manually add your latitude and longitude, you can find the coordinates by searching your address on the internet. So we're going to leave it ticked to say go to the floor plans to place this AP, and then we'll hit create, and that'll create the access point. The entire provisioning of the AP and when it becomes operational might take about 15 to 20 minutes. Here I'll place the AP on my calibrated plan, so I'll select the edit mode, and I'll take the AP symbol and I'll place it down where my AP is. And then I'll hit save. And I'll update the access point information. Now if I go to my dashboard, you'll see that my venue is gray and that my AP is gray and it says it's offline. So now if I go to the AP, it says it has never contacted the cloud. So it's going to go ahead and provision itself. And as I mentioned, this is going to take about 15 to 30 minutes or so. So while that's happening, I want to talk a little bit about the AP and some of the LEDs. You can power on the Ruckus LTE APs using an AC adapter, which is included in the box, or using a PoE plus switch or an injector. You would plug an RJ45 cable with a reliable internet connectivity into the AP. For more information on the installation and setup, you could refer to the quick setup guide, or you could go to the help menu. So for example, if I go up to my question mark, and I go to help for this page. So if I go to the help menu, this will give me various information on viewing all APs. Now let's go down to the troubleshooting basic issues. And I'm going to go to troubleshooting LTE issues and the initial setup issues. And if I scroll down on this, this gives me a table that talks about the different LEDs. So the power LED, when that goes solid green, it means that it is booted successfully and obtained a routable IP address. Solid green is good, no action is required. EMS stands for Element Management System. When that goes solid green, it means that the AP is being managed by the Element Management System. And for example, when you see a fast flashing green, it means that the AP is managed by the EMS and is receiving a configuration or firmware update. So if you're looking at your LEDs and you compare it to this table, that'll give you an idea what's happening. If I scroll down, next is my Evolved Packet Core LED. But when the EPC goes solid green, it means that it is now connected to the Evolved Packet Core. The next is the Sync LED. And when it's green, it means the time synchronization is achieved. For example, it says if sync is lost, debug the IP connectivity or any other local issues. The last LED is the LTE LED. And if this is amber, the LTE transmission is on and no UEs, which stands for user equipment or clients, are attached. If it's solid green, the LTE transmission is on and one or more UEs are attached to the cell. And as a note, IP connectivity to the EMS, EPC, SAS, and the timing source, which is the Precision Time Protocol or PTP timing phase and frequency lock, is a must for an AP to provide LTE service. A disruption to any of these connections may lead to an LTE AP service outage. So let's go back to the dashboard, and you see that we are connected. So let's go ahead and click on that AP, and I'm going to edit that AP and scroll down. And you'll notice that the latitude, longitude, and the height have automatically been inserted into that because we were using a calibrated floor plan. Now you notice here that we're not certified, but now I have the option to save and certify. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that will then send the certificate. So it's updating, and now it says the AP Details certification is enabled via SAS portal. Please ensure CBSD details are uploaded to the SAS provider portal. So I'll click OK. And now we'll go back to the dashboard. If I go back to my APs and I click on the AP that I just added, and I click on Edit AP and scroll down, now you'll see that the AP has been certified. So now I just have to wait until the provisioning completes before the AP comes up and is operational. So I'll click Cancel on that. Go back to my APs, and we'll just wait a little while for that to be operational. And as you can see, it's been about 20 minutes or so, and it's now operational. So if I go back to the dashboard, now I have one venue that's green, and I have one AP that's green, but I haven't connected a client. If you look at the LEDs on the access point, everything is green except the LTE. And that one's amber because I haven't connected a client to it. So I'm going to go ahead and connect a client to it. So as you can see, we now have one LTE client connected. So everything is good. Venue is good. We have one AP and we have one client connected. I want to show something for a second. I want to go back to the AP. This menu gives me the AP properties at a high-level overview, gives me the venue, tells me that the AP service is enabled, uptime is 12 minutes, last seen, so forth. But if I click on more, I can get more information here. So I can get the name, venue, and description, serial number, MAC address, model, and here's something else. I can also get the band. So this is saying that it's using band 42. The firmware version, if I needed to get that, it gives me the uptime, last seen, last reset, some of the radio parameters that we have here. The physical cell ID, if you remember when we configured this with a physical cell ID or PCI between 200 to 300, so it selected 254. Timing role says it's the master, timing source is GPS, timing sync status is lock, it gives me the VLAN and some other, and then it gives me the SAS information at the bottom. So for example, if you need to get more information on what's happening with that AP or how it's configured, you can always go into the more function. So we'll close out on that. As you notice on our floor plan, our AP is now green and everything is up and running. Okay, one other little test I'd like to show you is if you go back to the AP, and let's say, for example, that you're trying to provision it, or maybe you're not sure that it's connecting right or it's communicating. If I click on that AP, and if I go to more, it said that the AP LEDs will blink for 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and blink those LEDs. It says that they're going to blink for 30 seconds. And you could use this, let's say, for example, if you had 3 or 4 APs and you were trying to search for the AP and you weren't sure where it was at, you could blink the LEDs and you could look up at the ceiling or wherever the AP was and you could find out where it was. Or, just like we're doing here, you can test it just to make sure that it is communicating. So those LEDs are going to blink for about 30 seconds. So we'll go back to the dashboard for a second. If I can go to users, you'll see under the Iwani Art Studio that I now have one client associated with that. And for some reason, if I want to sort of follow along with some of the things that are happening, you might want to just take a look at some of the events that happen. So we can go to my event log here, and we can look through some of the various things that have been happening. For example, here it says the grant was allocated to the RSC. Registration with the SAS was successful. The authorization with SAS was successful. So it kind of gives you a timestamp of some of the events that have been happening as you're going through the provisioning process. Or if you're having problems with the AP, you can go in and take a look at the events as well. So if we're back on the dashboard, So for example, if we do have some severe alarms, you'll see an alarm show up here, and it'll be color-coded where it requires attention and so forth. And then we can go ahead and clear that. So if you have any questions on the setup, you can go to the user's guide or the setup guide that comes with the AP, or you can go up into the help menu up here and search under the documentation or the help for this particular page. And that'll help you understand what's happening and how to do the configuration. So as you can see, it's easy to add an AP to certify it and to verify its operation using the Ruckus LTE AP Management Portal. The only thing is, just remember, it's going to take about 15 to 30 minutes for this process to take place.